Have you ever heard of Liquid Sky? If not, you're in for a wild ride. This is the kind of film you stumble across late at night and then never quite forget. Made in 1982 on a shoestring budget by Slava Zuckerman, Liquid Sky blew up bigger than anyone expected. Raked in about $1.7 million worldwide, which made it the indie hit of its year. So what's it about? Picture this: Margaret, a fashion model neck-deep in New York's edgy post-punk scene, is living with her rival, Jimmy, who's just as androgynous and troubled as she is. And fun fact, both characters are played by the same actor, Carlisle. Meanwhile, a bunch of tiny, invisible aliens have landed on the roof of their building. But instead of drugs, these aliens are after a new high. They feed off the chemicals released in people's brains during sex. Yeah, it's nuts. And as Margaret figures out that her lovers are dying after being with her, she drops the infamous line, "I kill people with my cunt." Talk about a cinematic mic drop. To make things even trippier, there's a German scientist in the mix, trying to track down the aliens and figure out what the hell's going on. All of this gets smashed together with crazy 80s fashion, gender-bending characters, drugs, dark humor. Honestly, there's nothing else like it. Visually, the movie's a neon fever dream. Tons of mirrors, trippy lighting, all shot on the grittier side of New York. The cinematographer, Yuri Neyman, made magic out of basically no money, tinkering with NASA tech and homemade gadgets to get wild effects. The soundtrack, straight up otherworldly. Think weird classical tunes twisted into electronic madness, all made on an old-school Fairlight synth, plus loads of odd sounds, wind chimes, metal, wood, you name it. When Liquid Sky first dropped at movie festivals, audiences lost their minds. It cleaned up at Montreal, Sydney, Brussels, everywhere. It became a midnight movie legend, playing for years in places like New York and Boston, pulling in serious cash along the way. Critics loved it too. The New York Times even called it the most successful independent film of its day. It's still rocking a 93% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Plus, it totally left its mark on fashion and music. If you're into early 2000s electro clash, you've definitely seen its influence. Even the likes of Lady Gaga and Karen O say they got inspired by its wild energy. If you dig deeper into the plot, it's a freaky blend of dark comedy, horror, and experimental art. Margaret and Jimmy both live on the edge in New York's underground scene, with the story dipping into themes of sex, drugs, power, gender, and existential dread. As the invisible aliens kill off Margaret's partners, the whole thing gets more and more surreal, while the skeptical German scientist tries to make sense of it all. These days, Liquid Sky is like a time capsule of weird 1980s New York, capturing all the chaos, style, and alienation of that moment. Good news for fans, director Zuckerman has confirmed he's working on a sequel. Carlisle is even coming back, only now in present-day New York. If you ask fans about Liquid Sky, you'll hear stuff like, "This movie is weird and experimental, full of themes about sex and drugs, a gonzo movie you're not soon to forget." Sure, it's rough around the edges and low budget, but honestly, that's part of what makes it so electric and memorable. So if you want a movie experience that's out there, stylish, shocking, and just plain unforgettable, seek out Liquid Sky. Trust us, you've never seen anything quite like it.